Nice, and I'm glitching.
Enemy located. Second floor.
I push door, That's good.
10 seconds left. Op 4 found the bomb. 1 op 4 remaining.
He's on the bomb. No, don't play.
Reach the time limit.
Hi, I'm Bot.Recoil, and for the people that might not know, I'm a student in applied psychology and I play Rainbow Six Siege in my spare time. I've decided to combine my two passions into one. The result? Videos that are aimed to help you improve in Rainbow Six Siege. If you like what I do on this channel and want to support me, leave a like and share the video with a friend. How many times has it happened to you that you got into a 1v1 situation as a defender with 20 seconds left and you choked the clutch? To me at least a dozen of times. Why do we lose these, and more importantly, how can we make sure that you lose less often in these situations? Of course, you view it from a psychological perspective. I would like to explain this by using the achievement goal theory, AGT in short. This theory suggests that human behavior is partially powered by our motives to show competence on achievement tasks. In the goals paper, the assumption is made that, and I quote, in achievement situations, each individual's purpose is to demonstrate high ability and avoid demonstrating low ability, end quote. Goals are made most of the times subconsciously, by a series of thoughts. It impacts the way how you make choice towards tasks. Therefore, it is likely to select tasks that showcase your ability. As such, you make a subjective judgment upon the chances of success. When you don't see a chance to show your ability, or there's no attractive goal present, you go for the default, which is avoiding the highlight of incompetence. Back to the clutch scenario, the 1v1 as a defender with 20 seconds left. When you get into this situation, you're in an achievement situation. You want to show a high level of ability and avoid showing low ability. So you take a look at the situation and have a look at what the chances are of success. This is high. The attacker has to plant. When planting, he is vulnerable, and when the timer runs out, you win. You see a chance to show your ability by peeking when the attacker is planting. When an E-athlete, a competitive Rainbow Six Siege player, needs to choose a task, it gets influenced by their goal orientation. It can be task and or ego oriented. When an individual is task oriented, they base their success upon the mastery of skills related directly to the task, which in this case is to deny the plant. When on the other hand, an ego-oriented individual will be focused on the display of their skills compared to those around them, such as winning a competition or outperforming particular opponents. I'm not saying that you're task or ego-oriented. You could be high or low in either one of them at the same time. So you could be ego-oriented, which would make you prefer to ego-based goals, but you will still be able to set and achieve task-based goals. How you react depends on the certain situation you're in, which is known as involvement. Your involvement, your reaction to a situation, can differ from your typical orientation. With other words, when you're task involved, you see that your put in effort leads to more mastery and higher ability. When the attacker has to stick to plans, you have the highest chance of winning. So if I delay him for 20 more seconds without me dying, I win. When you're ego involved, your chance of demonstrating ability depends on the ability of others. How good of shot do you have in relation to the opponent? Would you peek when it's Bolo or Shaiko? Would you peek if it's just a random rank player? When we combine this knowledge, it means that when a player is ego-oriented, they will most of the times measure their relative success against the skills of their competition. And that when a player is task-oriented, they typically evaluate their success based on improvements of their past performances and the perceived mastery of skill. How does it look like in the world of Rainbow? Well, when you're task-oriented, you'll focus on your improvement as an individual. So, getting better aim, knowing more strats, improving your callouts, and so on. While on the other hand, ego-oriented individuals focus on the result of the competition with their teammates along with other social comparisons. You focus on your rank. You see rank as an indicator of skill, When you're not standing on the top of the scoreboard, you perform poorly. The other team was just better than you. Or something like that. Research suggests that being task involved brings more enjoyment and gives you a more positive experience. Given the increased likelihood of depression and anxiety with gamers, it should be encouraged to get more task involved. Your reaction to certain situations, your involvement, gets influenced by the environment you play and practice in. When your teammates tell you that you're shit, you want to show them differently. You peak, you're becoming ego involved. When your team just gives you necessary calls, they give you the opportunity to play in the way you want to play it. You can make a choice based on past experiences. You get task involved. If you're playing in a competitive team, it is the role of the coach as well as the player to work and promote a task-involved environment. In other words, having an ego involvement is not necessarily bad, when there is a link established with a task-based goal. For example, ego goals would be appropriate when you're in a tryout or when you're competing for a national championship. Now, how can you become more task-involved? Which will give you more enjoyment and a more positive experience? There are more than just one approach you could take. Performance profiling, SMART goals, and staircase goal setting. The first strategy, performance profiling, is a way that can help you with setting a goal for improvement. It helps you to make your improvement measurable, and measurement improves performance. How does it work? First, you need to get an indication of what a good player looks like. What qualities or attributes does a good Rainbow Six Siege player have? The next step in performance profiling is to identify the importance of every attribute you've written down. How important on a scale of 1 to 10 is each attribute, where 1 is of no importance and 10 is of most importance. When you have done this, you get an idea of what attributes an ideal Rainbow Six Siege player possesses. Once you have scored the attributes on importance, write down on how you would like to score on the attributes. Again, between a score of 1 to 10. Where 1 is no way to be worse and 10, no way to do it better. After this, you're going to have a look at yourself. How do you actually score on the attributes? Again, between a score of 1 to 10, where 1 is no way to be worse and 10 no way to do it better. When you have completed this, you're almost done to actually get started with improving. Because now you're gonna have a look at how much you need to improve on the attributes given. You do this by calculating the difference in score from where you want to be and where you actually are right now. To make it easier to focus your attention, you need to know where to put your focus on. You do this by multiplying the calculated difference with the score of the ideal player. I would like to hear your ideas in the comments below. How would you define a good Rainbow Six Siege player? What score do you want to reach? Where are you now? And on what attributes are you going to put your focus on? In conclusion, you want to become more task involved, to get more enjoyment and a more positive experience. You want to put an emphasis on the mastery of your skills. By giving your individual performance a score, it will become easier to focus on your individual improvement, and therefore you will become more task oriented. Improving as an individual will help you win more games in general, thus also the clutch scenarios. If there is something you did not understood, or if you have any other questions, you can ask them in the comments, or contact me on Twitter or Reddit, links in the description below. If you'd like to see the other two strategies to get more task involved, let me know in the comments. I might do a video about it. Thanks for watching.